Hey guys, Ken here. Welcome back to the channel. I've been seriously considering something for the past few days. I'm always looking for ways to improve my customer experience with my customers, especially my repeat customers. And I've been thinking about changing something on my eBay store, and I'd like kind of like your input on that. Maybe your experience on this. It's something that would require a lot of work for me to do to change over, but I am considering getting rid of eBay standard envelope and just not using that service anymore and just using the standard USPS first class mailing. And let me tell you why. There's several reasons. One reason is because with eBay standard envelope, I know the reason why they did it. Okay, they did it to save sellers on postage, because before all you could do was send it first class, but it didn't have any tracking. And that's what this provided. It provided you with tracking. Now, it isn't USPS tracking, but it is tracking. It's a third party tracking. And that's why a lot of people, gravitated towards it. But, over the years that I've been using this, it's been primarily a good service to use. I can't knock it entirely. But the thing is, like, one of the reasons why I want to change over is because with eBay standard envelope, what happens is, even because it's not USPS tracking, you can't take it to the post office and have them scan it because they don't have the scanning tools for this. It operates kind of on the principle of, they called it metered mail. Yeah. And basically, here, let me show you an example. Here's an order that's, going out this morning. I'm going to hide their name so you don't see, for personal privacy. But this is kind of what it looks like on the envelope. Okay? See that? Now, the way I do it is I put it in a little cardstock tent to further protect it. And then I put it, in this envelope. And it has to be bendable because it's going through their high-speed machines. It has to be able to turn 90-degree turns and things like that. But the problem I've had in the past, and it's not a big problem, but it is a reoccurring problem that they've never been able to seem to fix. And that is, the way it works is these items get scanned through scanning hubs along the journey, along the high-speed machines. And when it says delivered, okay, it's not actually delivered. Okay, what it is it hits the final scan hub and then probably drops in a bin somewhere. And depending on, how much, personnel they have, how much staff they have, sometimes it'll get to your customer like in the afternoon, or it could take up to 24 or 48 hours before it actually gets delivered. And since the post office doesn't have the scanning tools for that, the only reason it says delivered is because it hit that last scanning hub, and that's when it says delivered. I had a customer once reach out to me and said, well, it said it got delivered at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I haven't received it yet. Well, I said, just give it a little time, because it still has to be physically delivered to you. And they got it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So everything was cool. But that's one of the reasons. The information that it gets delivered isn't 100% accurate. Now, another reason I'm thinking about dumping it is because with eBay standard envelope, what happens is sometimes it doesn't even get tracked. I have records in my on my eBay seller hub, okay, that the card has already been delivered. I've already received positive feedback, great experience. And then on my seller hub, it says either it was never even tracked from the beginning. It hit the initial seller hub, the first hub, and it got tracked there. But after that, nothing. Okay, it shows no tracking history, no tracking record at all. And see, that causes a problem because if, per se, let's say the customer doesn't give you feedback, because feedback, as we all know, is not mandatory on eBay. It's voluntary. if they don't give you any feedback and you have no way of knowing where the item is because there's no tracking history because it didn't track, you don't know whether they got it or not. So that creates kind of a problem. Let's see, another reason. I have records in my eBay seller hub with eBay standard envelope that sometimes, like I said, it doesn't get tracked, but sometimes it shows, like it'll say in transit. And same thing, the customer has already received the envelope and they've already gotten their card and they're very happy and they left positive feedback and all that. But on the tracking, it says still in transit and it's never changed. So there's those issues. Okay, now let me tell you the reason why I'm thinking about changing back over to just regular first class mail. First of all, with first class, you get USPS tracking. In other words, they have the scanning tools. They, when they arrive at the destination, arrive at the home of the buyer, they can just pull out their hand scanner and go boop, and it gets scanned right there. And that way it's been delivered. Okay. Now, the disadvantage to, of course, first class is the fact that it's more expensive. That was the whole reason for eBay standard envelope, to save on shipping costs. Because, you're dealing in postcards. Well, my postage fee that I have set, because it's pretty much a blanket cost. So I've measured it from, I live on the Oregon coast, West Coast, and I needed to measure it all the way to, say, the tip of Florida, because I only ship within the U.S., continental U.S., lower 48 states. I don't ship to Alaska or Hawaii or anything like that. So I had to figure out a flat rate for that, and I came up with $5.25. Now, the post office, what they used to have is called USPS parcel package. Okay, and that was anything, because see, with eBay standard envelope, with stuff like this, 1 ounce will cost you so much. I think what the rate is, what is it? Let me see what it is on here. 64 cents, 2 ounces would be, I think it's 81 cents, and 3 ounces is like maybe $1.05 or $1.08. I can't exactly remember which, but anything over 3 ounces, you still have to send it first class because it would be too thick. And see, that's another problem you run into with these, is the fact that if it's too thick, so let's say you're sending out multiple cards, if it's too rigid, it won't go through their machines. It won't, it'll get jammed up in the machine because it won't be able to turn. It's got to be able to bend. See how this bends? And if it can't make a 90-degree turn, it's going to jam up at the corner. It's going to spill mail all over the place. It's going to be a nightmare. And just one time, I sent one card like this to a buyer in Florida, and for some reason the post office thought it was too thick. Well, it was only 1/8 of an inch. I have a guide that I use that's similar to the post office, what they use, and it went right through, no problem. But they just kind of felt it, and they said, well, this seems a little rigid. And what they did is they re-rated it, and it ended up at my buyer's house with $4.50 postage due. Now, they were real cool about it, okay? They just wrote me and said, hey, this came postage due. I'm not going to pay that. I'm going to have to, ask for my money back, which I did. I refunded the money. They sent back the card. No harm, no foul. But that's another problem I ran into. Now, let me show you what I would be mailing if I decide to go to just regular first class. Now, see, it's no longer first class parcel package. The post office has changed that service, and it's a better service. What it gives you is up to a weight limit of 15 pounds rather than just 3 ounces. But I would be mailing them in something like this. This is what they call a stay flat. It's a very rigid, very stiff. This is a 6x8 mailer. Now, I used to use 6x6s, but I ran into a little problem because the 4x6 cards, the continental size cards I mail out, they weren't fitting them. They were right at the edge, and it was causing some problems. So I went with a 6x8-inch stay flat. And this is the generic kind. I don't get the brand. Nothing wrong with the brand. It's just that they're a lot more expensive. I get these off Amazon. And everything is rated according to what they call a GSM rating. Okay, it's a thickness rating. These envelopes for the for the eBay standard envelope, the envelopes I've been using are rated at 150 GSM. GSM stands for grams per square meter, I believe. And a lot of people that do postcards use the EcoSwift brand, and they're rated at 250 GSM. So that's why they're popular. I stopped using them because I ran into some supply issues. I couldn't get my orders fulfilled as far as when I needed to place an order or whatever. So I decided to switch over to a different thing. But when I went with these are rated, I think, at like 600 GSM. So they're really thick. And like I said, the advantage is I can use USPS tracking. And there's something else I'm able to put on there. And these are my little stickers. See, with the eBay standard envelope, I couldn't do that because it would, flag the post office and they think it was too thick and they would re-rate it. But now I've got these do not crush bend or fold stickers. I can put those on the other, on these 6x8 stay flats, no problem. And that $5.25 fee just covers the whole postage, And see, another reason why I'm considering going back to USPS first class ground advantage. I think that's what it's called. Yeah, USPS ground advantage. But by using these, I can use USPS tracking, which is a lot more reliable. And they were able to scan it right at the door when it gets delivered. And the fact that one of the things that I've noticed over the years is that my customers, and maybe you've experienced this too, my customers are adamant about protection. Making sure that the card gets there fully protected. And I've even had some people write in the comments, hey, make sure that the card is fully protected. I've had some bad experiences with it being, not protected and comes damaged or whatever. Now, I've never had one get damaged. To my knowledge, I've never had one. I've been doing this a little over 4 years now, and I've never had one get damaged, even with the eBay standard envelope, deal. But like I said, this would really ensure that the card would get protected because I would put the card in a fold-over tent, card stock, fold-over tent. What I use is like 100-pound cardstock. It's really thick. And then slip that inside of this and seal it up, and it would be great. I mean, it would get there just like this. It would get there with the tracking. And they would be able to go to USPS.com and track it. Whereas with this, with the eBay standard envelope, you can't do that. It's not the same tracking. Okay? So I'd like to know your thoughts on this. Like I said, it's got to be a lot of work. I can do some things in bulk with the bulk editor, but there's one setting in there that I think I have to do manually. And it has to do with the shipping discount. Like if somebody orders more than one, there's a couple of fields where, I don't know, I may be able to find it on the bulk editor. I'm hoping I can. But if I can't, I'm going to have to go into each listing and just do it. I don't know. I'm really kind of tossed whether I should do it or not. I want to know your thoughts. I want you to share in the comments section your experiences with eBay standard envelope. The good, the bad, the ugly. I want to kind of weigh that out against what everybody else has done. I know some people that sell collectibles and postcards that don't use eBay standard envelope at all. They charge the full retail USPS rate for whatever they're shipping. And it still works out because even though I have sent, I was still using this way when I would have multiple orders. Like this morning, I got an order for 2 cards. I sent somebody an offer on 2 cards, and immediately, cha-ching, they went off. And so I'm going to be sending that out once I get paid, because they haven't paid yet. But I'm going to be sending that in one of these with USPS tracking. Okay, I know the rules with eBay standard envelopes say that you can send up to 3 cards. I know I've seen other people send up to 5 or 10 cards, and somehow it got through. I don't know how it got through, but it did. But anyway, I want to know your thoughts. I want to know what you think about whether you think this is a good idea, whether you think, I really shouldn't. I don't know. I'm kind of tossed between it because I care very much about my customers. And by sending it this way, I know it's more expensive, but I've found that they don't mind paying it. Okay, I know it's $5.25 flat rate, for anything, however many cards you sell. Okay, but the thing is, they don't mind paying it because they get the added protection. Because this is so thick. I don't know if you can hear that. That is so thick, 600 GSM, as compared to these, which is like 150, and even the EcoSwift envelopes, they're 250, but these are 600 GSM, I think, and it's really, really thick, and it offers the ultimate in protection. I mean, if the post office were to drop a 50-pound box on this, yeah, it would damage it. And if my customers don't mind paying for a little extra protection just so they can get that card undamaged, then that means the world to me, because then that means you got a happy customer, and usually a repeat customer. Okay, because I get a lot of repeat business. So I'd like to know your thoughts. Put it in the comments. Let's have a conversation about it. I want to know the good, the bad, the ugly, if you've had good experiences, if you've had bad experiences, if you're thinking about changing over. I don't know. I want to hear it all. Okay. So anyway, let me know in the comments, okay? I guess that's going to do it for today. And thanks for watching. And as always, you know the drill. If you got anything out of this video, and I hope you did, make sure you smash that like button. It really helps the channel. I appreciate it. I'm going to go. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care, and bye for now.